My name is Aiden Reyes. I'm 30 years old. And until very recently, I thought being a good son meant being available for everything, all the time. This morning, I fixed my mom's bathroom light. Again, third time in 6 months. The bulb wasn't broken, the socket was loose, and the entire ceiling fixture is from the 80s, a brittle thing that sheds dust and resentment. She sat in the living room while I worked, phone on speaker, voice bright and sugary. Yes, he's here now. He always helps, my Aiden. He's so dependable. I'm lucky, right? She said that to her cousin, as I stood on the toilet seat, balancing a screwdriver in one hand and the glass dome in the other. She didn't say thank you when I finished. She didn't even look up. I live in her basement. She charges me rent. It's not a big house, a split level with fake shutters and an overgrown front hedge, the kind of place people drive past and forget. But inside, every corner belongs to her, her decorations, her voice, her rules. She tells people I live there just until he gets his feet under him, as if I haven't been paying $700 a month for 5 years, as if she hasn't used that money to cover her missed credit card payments, late cable bills, or impulsive shopping binges on QVC. Last week, I found a shark-shaped vacuum sitting on the porch. She told me it was a gift to herself for surviving the pandemic. It cost $340. I still drive the same dented Corolla I bought for $1,100 in college. The driver's side window doesn't roll down. She's never helped with a car payment, gas, or repairs. But she's called me twice from the side of the highway when her SUV had a flat and expected me to drop everything. I did, both times. When I was 15, my dad left. No warning. One morning he kissed my mom on the cheek, said he'd be back by dinner, and never walked through the door again. That night, she made meatloaf and didn't speak during the meal. When I offered to do the dishes, she looked at me with tear-streaked mascara and said, "You're the man of the house now." That means something, Aiden. By Monday, I had a job at Gary's Deli. Busboy. $6.75 an hour, and whatever coins customers left stuck to the sticky plastic tables. My paychecks disappeared into grocery bags and overdue utility bills. It was my responsibility. It always would be. "You're such a good son," our neighbor Cheryl told me once, as I hauled in 3 cases of bottled water from the car. "She's lucky to have you." I nodded, like I always do. I didn't tell her my mom had asked me to swing by Costco that morning after I got off a 12-hour shift at the warehouse before I started my second shift at the bar. I didn't tell her the water was for her, not me, or that she once threatened to lock me out for a week when I said I couldn't pick up her prescription on time. 2 days ago, I saw an unopened iPad box on the kitchen table. "New toy?" I asked cautiously. "It's for your sister," she said, sipping her Diet Coke. "She needs it for school." I blinked. I thought she'd dropped out of her nursing program. "She's thinking about reapplying." A pause. "Who paid for it?" She waved me off. "Don't worry, Aiden. I put it on my card. You can help me cover it over the next couple of months." I said nothing. She took that as a yes. Yesterday, my HR manager pulled me aside, said he received a call from someone asking about my annual bonus. "Your mom, I think?" he said, trying to laugh it off. I didn't laugh. I apologized. Profusely. I went home that night and locked the basement door. Not that it mattered. The walls are thin. I could still hear her upstairs playing a movie at full volume while she scrolled through Facebook. I didn't plan on asking for help, but I was tired. And I thought maybe just this once, she might surprise me. The deposit on the apartment I'd been eyeing was $1,950. I had $1,400. I'd been saving. I just needed a little more. I texted her from the basement, even though I could have walked upstairs. "Hey, I found a place. It's small but good. I'm short a little on the deposit. Could you maybe spot me $500? I'll pay you back in full next month." She didn't respond right away. When she finally did, it was 3 words. "Stop asking for favors." That was it. No punctuation, no explanation. I stared at the message for a full minute, then reread it twice. My chest didn't tighten. My eyes didn't burn. I just felt quiet. It wasn't new. It was just finally obvious. There was no fight, no speech, no slammed doors. I packed that night. Took what I could fit in my trunk clothes, laptop, my grandmother's old cast-iron skillet. Left the rest. I didn't tell her I was leaving. I didn't leave a note. The apartment is 420 square feet. There's no oven, just 2 burners and a tiny convection toaster. The water heater takes 20 minutes to warm up. The carpet smells faintly of mildew. The window faces an alley. It's the best place I've ever lived. It's quiet, and it's mine. I turned off read receipts. I archived the family group chat. She didn't call. She didn't ask where I went. She didn't follow up. Of course she didn't. I stopped asking for favors, and for the first time in 15 years, I wasn't needed, and it felt like freedom. The apartment door clicks shut behind me with a sound that doesn't echo. That's how you know it's real. No echo, no bounce, just silence. Outside, the hallway smells like old paint and overcooked onions from someone's dinner 3 doors down. Inside, I've got 2 duffel bags, a camping chair, and a twin-size air mattress that loses pressure every few hours. I've never felt so stable. I didn't tell anyone I moved. Not my mom, not my sister, not my uncle who only calls when his printer doesn't work. I let the absence speak for itself. She hasn't texted again, not to ask where I went, not to ask if I'm okay, not even to ask for her rent. There's no table yet. I eat dinner cross-legged on the floor, canned soup, sometimes instant noodles. I rinse the bowl with cold water because the hot takes too long. It's not much, but it's mine. There's a dignity in microwaving your own dinner without someone walking in behind you asking what you're planning to do with your life. Last night I dreamed about the basement, not the mold on the walls or the thump of her footsteps overhead, but the sound of her voice calling down the stairs. "Aiden, can you come up here?" Always a command, disguised as a question. I leave my phone on Do Not Disturb now. There's no one I need to be available for. It's not loneliness. It's stillness. Like standing in a forest after a storm and realizing the trees are still upright, that you're still breathing. There's a laundromat across the street. I don't mind the wait. I bring a book, pretend to read. Mostly I just watch people come and go. Moms with strollers, dads folding superhero sheets, teenagers scrubbing grass stains out of jeans that still have knees in them, and me, washing the same 3 pairs of jeans and 6 plain t-shirts. This morning, I stopped by the dollar store to get a shower curtain. It's plastic, translucent, printed with little blue fish. I almost bought a different one, something plain, adult, beige maybe. But then I thought about how I never got to pick the curtains at home, or the dishes, or the radio station in the car. So I bought the one with fish, and smiled as I hung it up. I haven't told anyone the new address, not out of paranoia, just clarity, because I know what would happen. If I sent the address, she'd drop by with a frozen lasagna and say, "See? I'm still your mom." She'd point out the cracked tile in the entryway and say, "You really need to get that fixed." She'd touch the air mattress and say, "So you're still struggling," and then she'd leave with a sigh like she had just been wounded. I almost texted her once. It was a Tuesday. I saw an email from the electric company saying they needed to verify my ID before starting the new account. And I thought maybe she could send over a scan of my old bill. Just this once. I opened our text thread. Her last message stared back at me. "Stop asking for favors." I stared at it until my thumb hovered over the reply box. Then I closed it, deleted the thread, took a photo of my lease instead, and sent it to the electric company. They verified it within the hour. In the basement, there was a light switch at the top of the stairs that controlled the only bulb downstairs. She used to flick it off when she thought I'd been down there too long. "You'll waste electricity," she'd say, even though I paid the bill. I learned to keep a flashlight under my pillow. It's strange how the body remembers things before the mind does. The way I still flinch when someone knocks loudly, or the way my hand still hesitates before touching the thermostat. Freedom is not instant. It's a weaning. One night, about a week after the move, I wake up at 2:07 a.m. No dream, no sound, just this sense. I check my phone. 2 missed calls, both from Mom. No voicemail, no follow-up, just the calls. I let the screen fade to black, roll back over, pull the blanket up. The next morning, I unfriend her on Facebook. Not out of spite, out of protection. She once tagged me in a photo of our family barbecue. The caption read, "My rock, my son, my everything." The night before that barbecue, she'd screamed at me for not vacuuming the stairs the right way. A week later, a friend from high school texts, "Your mom okay? She posted something kinda weird." I check her page. It's public. She's written a long post about raising ungrateful children, about how she sacrificed everything, and some people forget blood is thicker than water. No names, but I know the target. She always writes in code when she wants sympathy without accountability. The next day she emails me, subject line, "Fine, whatever." The message body is empty. I don't reply. I've started sleeping better, not longer, just deeper. Like my nervous system is finally loosening its grip on whatever invisible string it's been tied to since I was 15. One night, I make real food, spaghetti with sauce I don't pour from a jar, garlic toast from actual bread, a cheap bottle of wine from the corner store. I eat sitting on the floor, no TV, no music, just me. And it's enough. At the end of the month, I transfer $1,950 to my landlord, the rent, the deposit, the thing she wouldn't help with. And when the payment clears, I realize I never needed the favor. I just wanted to know if she would have offered it. Flashback. I was 17, applying to college, a community school an hour away, affordable, practical. I got in, but I needed help with the first semester's books, $327. She looked at me and said, "If you want it bad enough, you'll figure it out." Then she ordered takeout and bought my sister a new backpack from a boutique. I worked double shifts at Gary's that summer, bought used textbooks off Craigslist. Never asked her again. I start walking home from work instead of taking the bus. The air helps, clears my head. Saves $1.40 a day, which adds up. I pass a hardware store and see a sign. Clearance tables, scratch and dent. I go in. 30 minutes later, I'm hauling a chipped coffee table down the sidewalk. It wobbles a little. One leg is shorter than the rest. I fold a piece of cardboard under it and it's perfect. A friend would call it ugly. I call it mine. That night, I read a line in a book that stays with me. Some people are born into the wrong homes. The lucky ones get out. I underline it, close the book, look around my little apartment, cracked paint, leaky faucet, air mattress slowly sinking, and I feel like one of the lucky ones. No one has visited, no one's asked. It used to bother me. Now it feels like proof. Proof that I was never loved, just used. Because love doesn't disappear when you stop being useful. It's been 19 days. 19 days since I left. Since she said those words. No apologies, no explanations, just silence. And for the first time in my life, I don't feel guilty about it. I used to flinch when the phone buzzed. Now I watch it light up without blinking. She calls once at noon, again at 6:43 p.m. No voicemail, no text. By the third day, she tries again. I let it ring until it stops. She never liked silence. She used to fill rooms with noise just to prove she was still the center of it. Now she's calling into a vacuum, and I'm not returning the echo. The first time she calls, I recognize the number. The second time, it's from an unknown number. I imagine her borrowing Cheryl's phone from next door, or using 67 like I wouldn't know. She doesn't say what it's about, doesn't say she's sorry, just rings, like I'm supposed to answer because I always have. I check Facebook. She hasn't posted anything new. That's how I know she's rattled. When she's angry, she posts. When she's cornered, she disappears. The emails start on day 5. Subject, fine. Message, if you want to be ungrateful, go ahead. I don't care anymore. I don't reply. 2 days later, subject, bills. Message, you need to take your name off the electric account. I can't log in. The password's under your name. I delete it. I check my credit report the next morning. There's a $3,200 loan opened last year with me listed as co-signer. I never saw a dollar. Never signed a thing. I freeze my credit. Send a dispute. Breathe. The power company calls my cell. Hi, is this Aiden Reyes? Yes. We have a past due balance under your name associated with 912 Pineview Road. Are you still living at that address? No, I say calm. Can you confirm when you moved out? I wasn't living there. I just paid for it. She's quiet for a second, then apologizes. Says they'll look into it. I Google the address once. My childhood home. The street view hasn't changed in 5 years. Same cracked driveway. Same crooked mailbox. But I look closer. The porch light's out. That light was never off. A neighbor messages me on Facebook, someone I haven't spoken to since middle school. Hey, sorry to bother. Your mom's been knocking on doors asking for jumper cables. You okay? I don't respond, but I read the message 3 times. There's a number I don't recognize. It leaves a voicemail. I almost don't listen, but something about the area code makes me press play. It's her. Aiden, I know you're there. I need you to call me back, please. That's it. No crying, no anger, just one sentence. She sounds tired. I delete it. I cook dinner on a hot plate now. Sliced peppers, onions, some chicken. I eat alone with the fan on and the door locked. It's simple, quiet, safe. She tries again 3 days later. The voicemail is longer. You can't just disappear like this. I raised you. You don't get to cut people off like they're strangers. I'm your mother. It's not desperation. It's ownership. I delete that one too. That Friday, I see a post from my sister. A picture of a new apartment. Caption, fresh start. The walls look familiar. She's moved out. I scroll through the comments. My mom writes, enjoy it while it lasts. Just wait till no one picks up your calls. That one stays up for 2 hours before it's deleted. I go to the pharmacy the next day. The clerk asks if I want to update my emergency contact. I hesitate. Then I erase the number. Leave it blank. Flashback. I was 22, working 2 jobs, still living in the basement. One night I came home with a fever, could barely stand. She stood at the top of the stairs and said, don't get me sick. Sleep on the couch. I did. She never asked how I was feeling. On the 10th day, I get another email. Subject, food. There's no groceries in the house. You said you'd cover it this month. I can't keep doing this alone. That's a new one. Alone. I let the words sit. Then I close the laptop. The silence used to feel like punishment. Now it feels like insulation, like waking up in a house where the shouting has stopped. Not because anyone changed, but because I left the house. I walk to the bus stop after work. A woman stands next to me with a baby strapped to her chest. The baby stares at me, wide-eyed, blinking. I smile. The baby smiles back. Her mom doesn't notice, and for the first time I realize I don't want a family like the one I had. I want warmth, real warmth, something quiet and soft. There's another call, this time from my uncle. He leaves a message. "Hey kid, your mom's not doing great. Just thought you should know." I delete it before he finishes, because I've heard it before. Usually right after she maxes out a new card, or when the lights get shut off. Flashback, I was 16, had my first job interview at a bookstore. She forgot to wake me up. Said later, "It's not my job to manage your life." But the next week, she woke me up at 6 a.m. to drive her to the salon. Day 13, another call, another voicemail. "You think you're better than us now? You think just because you have your own place you can pretend you weren't raised by me?" I don't answer. She's not wrong. I am pretending I was raised by someone who cared, someone who saw me as a son, not a solution. I go out for groceries, walk 2 miles to save bus fare. At checkout, the clerk rings up a bouquet by mistake. "Do you want the flowers?" I look at them. Yellow tulips. I say yes. Don't know why. Just do. They sit on the chipped windowsill for a week. Then they wilt. But the smell, the soft, dying sweetness, stays longer. A coworker at the warehouse says, "You've been quiet lately." I say, "I've been at peace." He laughs, says, "Wish I knew what that felt like." I don't say it, but I want to tell him. It feels like not answering. That night I get another call. Block number. 2 rings, then silence. I imagine her staring at the screen, waiting for me to blink first, but I won't. I've spent my life blinking. Now I just close my eyes and rest. I don't open the envelope again. It sits on my coffee table for 3 days, a quiet object collecting dust. Sometimes I use it as a coaster. Other times I just stare at it, not reading, not reacting, just remembering. I remember the night she stood at the top of the basement stairs and yelled, "This isn't a hotel, Aiden," because I didn't take the trash out fast enough, because I came home after midnight from my second job and didn't feel like arguing about dishes. I remember her face red with performative rage when I suggested I might move out. "You'll be back," she said. "The world doesn't care about people like you. You're not built for hard living." She said it like prophecy, like punishment. On the 4th day, I toss the envelope in the trash. I don't rip it. I don't burn it. I just drop it in like expired food. Then I take the trash out with the rest of the week's mess. It starts with a voicemail from Cheryl, the neighbor, banana bread, Sunday hair curlers, that one. "Hey hun, sorry to bother, but your mom's porch light has been out for a week now, and the front lawn's getting wild. Thought you might want to check in?" I delete the message. A few days later, I walk by her street on purpose. Not close, not to knock. Just far enough to see the house from a safe distance. The lights are off, all of them. Even the solar ones in the yard, the ones I installed 2 years ago for Mother's Day because she said the neighborhood was too dark at night. The grass is waist high. A final notice is zip-tied to the front gate. Even from across the street, I know what it is. At work, I get a call from a number that looks vaguely familiar. It rings 5 times, then goes to voicemail. "Aiden, it's your Aunt Lena. Your mom is struggling. The power's been off since last week. I know things haven't been easy between you, but she's still your mother. Please, at least call her." I don't. I save the voicemail, play it twice. Not because I'm considering calling her back, but because I want to hear how they talk about her when they need something from me. She's struggling. Not she's sorry. Not she misses you. Just she's falling apart. So come fix it. That night, I get a text from my sister. "Mom's losing it. You could at least reply." 3 minutes later, "She says you left her to rot." I type a reply, then delete it. One afternoon, I walk into a gas station and the guy behind the counter squints at me. "You Maria's boy?" I nod before thinking. He hands me an envelope. "She told me if I saw you to give you this. Came in earlier with a busted card. Said you'd know what to do. I take the envelope. Leave the Slim Jims on the counter. Walk out. Inside, another overdue bill. Handwritten note. You always handled this better." I throw it in a public trash bin before I even reach the parking lot. Later that week, a friend sends me a screenshot. My mother's latest Facebook post. A black and white selfie of her sitting on the porch, hair messy, lips pursed, eyes bloodshot. Caption, "When your child leaves you in the dark, literally and metaphorically. Prayers needed." She used the crying emoji 3 times. She once told me crying was weakness. When I was 8, I'd scraped my knees trying to mow the lawn while she sat inside watching TV. She stood over me, handed me a tissue and said, "Don't act like a girl. Get up. You want someone to come save you?" Number. No, I didn't. She starts posting daily, photos of dark rooms, melodramatic quotes about betrayal, screenshots of bank balances, hashtags like abandoned mother and do better Aiden. People start messaging me, old teachers, family I haven't spoken to in years, even a woman I matched with once on Bumble. Wow, you left your mom like that? Just call her, bro, not that deep. Family is everything. I block them all. One night I'm eating toast for dinner when there's a knock on my door, not loud, not aggressive, just persistent. I check the peephole. It's her. Again. Hair messier this time. No envelope, no speech, just her. She stands there for 4 minutes, longer than last time, doesn't knock again, just waits. Like I'm a genie, and she's rubbing the lamp in silence. She finally leaves. I watch from the window as she walks back to a car with a cracked windshield. She opens the door, sits for a moment, then leans her head against the steering wheel. She doesn't drive away for a while. 3 days later, I get a letter. Mailed, stamped, handwritten. Inside, "You've made your point. I'm sorry if I wasn't perfect, but this isn't right. You don't abandon family." There's a postscript. "Also, the house might go into foreclosure. I need you to co-sign a payment plan. It's just for a few months." I fold the letter carefully, slide it into the drawer where I keep spare napkins and batteries, close it, walk away. Flashback. Senior year of high school. College acceptance letter in hand. Full ride. She scans it, unimpressed. Says, "That's far. Who's going to help me if you're not around?" She didn't say congratulations. Not once. One night, I get a message from my ex. We haven't spoken in 2 years. "Your mom messaged me. Said she's been trying to reach you. She sent me your address." I don't reply. I change my locks the next day. I hear she moved in with her sister temporarily. Aunt Lena. She posted a photo. Humbled, but healing. The caption is passive-aggressive scripture. The comments are sympathy-laced venom. Some kids don't deserve good mothers. God sees what we don't. I let them talk. I'm not trying to be seen anymore. A new call comes from a blocked number. I let it ring. A minute later, a voicemail. "I didn't raise you to be like this." I don't listen to the rest. I've heard the ending before. The thing about manipulators is they don't mourn the relationship. They mourn the loss of access. And now that she couldn't reach me not through texts, not through voicemail, not even through people, she tried something new. She rewrote the story. It started with another Facebook post. A photo of her holding a framed picture of us from my high school graduation. Her hand rested on my shoulder in the photo. I remember how tight her grip was. It looked loving. It felt like a leash. Caption, "He used to be my world. Now I don't know who he is anymore." There were 36 comments in the first hour. "He'll come back. They always do. Kids today don't understand sacrifice. So sorry, Maria. You deserve so much better." One comment stood out. "Sometimes the quietest ones do the most damage." I didn't recognize the name. Probably someone from church, or one of her wine night friends, the ones who saw her in makeup and soft lighting, never in rage or silence. My sister texted again. "Why are you doing this to her? She's all alone now." "You win, I guess." "You know she's crying every night." I stared at the last message for a long time. What did they think this was? Some power move? Some punishment? This was escape. And even that they couldn't let me have without guilt. Aunt Lena left a voicemail next. "You don't have to talk to her, but this public silence is hurting her. People are starting to talk. It's cruel, Aiden. It's really cruel." As if silence was louder than the things she used to say behind closed doors. I got an email from a local nonprofit. The subject line read, "Family mediation support available." I opened it. Inside, a forwarded message, originally from her. She'd contacted them, listed me as the estranged child, said she was seeking reconciliation for the sake of emotional wellness. There was a sentence that made my jaw tighten. "My son has cut off all communication with no explanation, and I'm suffering emotionally and financially. I've tried everything. Everything but accountability." She sent another email directly to me the next day. No subject, just one line. "You're punishing me for being human." Flashback, age 24. I got promoted. First real salary job. I was excited and told her over dinner. She barely looked up from her phone. A minute later, she asked if I could increase my rent, said, "Now you can finally contribute like a man." I hadn't even signed the offer letter yet. I got another voicemail the same night. This time, she wasn't crying. Her voice was sharp, weaponized. "You need to stop this. You're making people think I abused you or something." "Is that what you're telling them? That I was a bad mother? That I didn't feed you? Didn't clothe you? That I didn't work double shifts to keep us afloat? You're acting like a child. Like you've never had responsibilities. You're sick. You need help." Click. I kept it. Saved the audio. Sometimes I play it when I need to remind myself that leaving was rational, not dramatic, not cruel, just necessary. She updated her profile picture. Now it was a black square. The caption, "Grieving the living." People started messaging me again. "I saw your mom's post. Is everything okay? This is none of my business, but she looks so broken. Maybe check in?" My mom's a handful too, but we only get one, you know? That one hit differently, because I had tried for years. I remembered the time I brought her flowers for her birthday. She frowned and said, "You couldn't afford a real gift?" I remembered the time I skipped a vacation with friends because she asked for help with the electric bill. She used the money to buy a Keurig and a new rug. I remembered the night she told me, "You'll never be anything without me. You're not built for independence." Every time I tried, she reminded me why I shouldn't have. Then came the final escalation. A message from a law office. Subject, intent to file for elder neglect. Inside, a formal-looking document. Not an actual lawsuit, but a draft of one, claiming emotional abandonment, financial hardship, and dereliction of familial duty. I read it 3 times, not because I was scared, but because it was absurd, and yet predictable. The last card, the desperate bluff. She had always weaponized guilt. Now, she was trying to weaponize legality. I walked to the park that night, sat on a bench and watched a father teach his daughter to ride a bike. She fell once, cried. He knelt down, brushed dirt off her knee and said, "You okay?" She nodded. Then he said something I'll never forget. "You don't have to do it alone. I'm right here." I closed my eyes and let that line settle into the hollow places. When I got home, I opened the email from the law office again, scrolled to the bottom. There was a line that made me pause. "Should the defendant wish to settle privately and resume contact, we are open to dialogue. Settle." As if love was a debt to negotiate, as if silence could be bargained down. I never replied. Instead, I mailed a single envelope to the law office. Inside was a printed page, black ink, white paper. No greeting, no signature, just one sentence. "Silence is not abuse." 2 weeks passed. No calls, no emails, no Facebook notifications, just static. The fallout had landed. And now, even she didn't know what to do next. Because the one thing she never prepared for was what to do when the guilt didn't work. I thought she might escalate again. Another fake lawsuit, another crying voicemail, but she doesn't. She disappears. No new voicemails, no emails, no desperate knocks at the door, not even a social media post. And that's how I know something cracked. I go about my days with the same rhythm. Morning shift, grocery store, read a chapter, sleep. It's not happiness, but it's peace, which I used to think was the same thing. It's not. Peace is quieter, heavier, like sitting in a still room and realizing the buzzing sound in your head is gone. One morning I passed the old street again. Out of habit, not intention. The house looks smaller. The porch paint is peeling. The for sale sign is gone. In its place, a handwritten notice taped to the door. Vacant. Do not enter. Property under review. The lawn is dirt now, not grass. The flowers I once planted with her marigolds have all withered into brittle stalks. She's gone. I don't feel triumphant. There's no soundtrack, just the wind brushing past my collar as I keep walking. Cheryl sees me again outside the corner store. "Oh, Aiden," she says. Her eyes go soft. "I thought I saw you last week." I nod. "She moved," she says quietly. "In with her sister, I think. Nobody's sure." I wait for her to say more. She does. "They came with a truck. Took everything. Couch, dresser, even the microwave." A pause. "She looked tired, Aiden. Real tired." I nod again, not out of agreement, just acknowledgement. The next evening I get a letter, not from her, from the county. It's a notice about a lien. My name is on it. I flip the page. 10 years ago, she added me as a co-owner on the house to help qualify for a loan. I was 20. She said it was just paperwork, said it wouldn't mean anything. She never removed me. Now the debt has come to collect. I call the number listed, ask if I'm liable. The man on the line sounds bored. "You'll need to prove non-involvement. Otherwise, it's shared liability." I hang up, not angry, just empty, because of course she did. Of course she left a key in my name, knowing the house was already burning. I spend that night staring at the wall, not thinking, just feeling weight settle in my chest like wet laundry. She always talked about legacy, about what mothers pass down. Turns out mine is debt. 3 days later, I see a message on Facebook from a woman I don't know. "Hi, Aiden. I don't want to intrude. I just wanted to tell you I met your mom through a prayer group. She spoke a lot about you. I don't know the full story, but I think she's starting to understand." I don't reply, but I reread the message. Not because I believe it, but because it sounds different from the others. Not blame, not bait, just information. The next week, I get an email. It's from her. No subject, just a single paragraph. I was wrong about a lot of things. I thought being a parent meant control. It doesn't. I thought love meant sacrifice, but I never asked what you were sacrificing to love me back. I'm not asking for anything. I just wanted you to know I see it now. There's no manipulation, no guilt, no request, just words. I don't respond, not because I hate her, because I've learned that healing doesn't always include reunion. Flashback. I was 27. She asked me why I never smiled anymore. I said, because I'm tired. She laughed. Said, tired of what? I pay the mortgage. She didn't see it. And for a long time, I thought it was my job to make her. Another email comes 2 weeks later. A photo. It's the front porch, freshly painted. Same house, but different now. I'm not asking you to come back. Just wanted you to know it doesn't look so empty anymore. She doesn't say who painted it or who lives there now. But the message is clear. She's trying, in her own way. I forward the lien documents to a lawyer. I sign off on removing my name. It costs me more than I want to admit, but it's worth it because it's not about the money. It's about cutting the last thread legally, psychologically, emotionally. No more hidden cosigns. No more landmines buried in signatures. Just me and the life I built after her. That weekend I buy a couch, secondhand, worn, but soft. I sit on it with a plate of noodles and a blanket over my knees. It's the first real piece of furniture I've owned that wasn't handed down or loaned or temporary. I fall asleep with the TV still on. I don't dream. It's strange how healing doesn't announce itself. No big moment, no victory lap, just small things. Like realizing you didn't check your phone all day and didn't feel guilty about it. Like walking past a mother yelling at her kid in public and not flinching. Like forgetting her birthday and not realizing until 3 days later. The couch creaks when I sit down, not in protest, just acknowledgement. It's old, and mine, and enough. I make coffee in silence now. No lectures about wasting electricity. No one standing behind me sighing loud enough to mean something. Sometimes I even leave a light on in the other room just because I can. I go out more now. Nothing loud, nothing crowded. Mostly parks, cafes, grocery stores where I take my time reading every label. There's no urgency in my days anymore. Just choice. And I'm learning that freedom isn't a dramatic escape. It's a quiet one. I get a text from my sister. She's calmer now. Then another. Still doesn't really say sorry, but she's different. You broke something in her, I think. I stare at the message. There was a time I would have read that and felt guilty. Now I feel sad. Not for her. For the years I spent thinking that breaking myself was the only way to fix her. At work, I get promoted. Not a huge jump. Just enough to notice. My manager says, "You've been more focused lately." I nod. Not because it's true, but because I've finally stopped bleeding energy into places where love went to die. One afternoon, I find a photo album in a donation bin. Not mine, not hers, but someone's. I flip through the pages. Kids at Christmas, birthday cakes, sleepovers and field trips, smiling mothers, and I wonder what their kids remember. Not the pictures, the moments between them. She hasn't emailed in weeks. No texts, no voicemails, no legal threats. I think maybe she finally heard what I never said. I don't hate you. I just don't need you anymore. I meet someone. It starts with coffee, becomes a walk, then dinner, then quiet evenings reading side by side. One night I tell them the whole story. Everything. They listen. Don't interrupt, don't pity me. When I finish, they say, "You must be really strong." And for the first time, I believe it. Not because I survived her, but because I chose not to go back. Flashback. She once told me, "People who don't talk to their parents are sick in the head." She said it like gospel, and for years I believed her. Now I know better. Some families love you like a vine wrapping, climbing, choking, until you forget your own shape. I get a call from Aunt Lena. She leaves a voicemail. "Just wanted you to know your mom's in therapy now. She said it's not helping, but she keeps going. That's something, right? She still talks about you. Less often, but softer. Thought you might want to know." I don't call back, but I save the message. Not for her, for me. To remind myself that change is possible, even if I'm not around to witness it. I repaint my kitchen. It's a small thing. Just a new coat, a new shade, something warmer. As the brush glides over the old, I realize this is what healing looks like. Not erasing, just covering the past with something chosen, something new. One day I get a letter in the mail, no return address. Inside, a photo of her at a beach, smiling, alone. The caption handwritten on the back, learning to be my own person. No ask, no apology, just a snapshot. I put it in a drawer, not out of spite, out of pique. The next week, I delete our old texts. All of them. The "I need money" ones, the "you never helped me" one, even the last one she sent. Stop asking for favors, not to forget, but to clear space. I light a candle that evening, place it in the window. I don't know why, just felt like something worth doing. Then I sit on the couch, feet tucked under me, blanket draped, tea steaming beside me. Outside, it's quiet. Inside, I am too. And for the first time in years, I feel whole. It's been a year. Since the text, since the silence, since the decision to stop shrinking just to fit someone else's idea of love, I've rebuilt, quietly, like moss growing back over a scarred rock. I don't talk about her much, not because it hurts, because there's nothing left to explain. One morning, I sit down at my kitchen table. The sun is coming in slanted, catching the rim of my coffee mug. I open my laptop, not with intention, just habit. But then I open a blank document, and without planning to, I begin to type. Hi, Mom. It's not forgiveness, not reconciliation, just a hello, from a safe distance. You once told me family is everything, that no matter how bad things get, blood ties hold tighter than anger. You used that to excuse a lot. I stop, delete the last line, start again. You used that to make sure I never left. But I did, and I stayed gone, and the world didn't end. I thought that made me cruel. I thought it meant I was broken, that if I could ignore my own mother's calls, something was wrong with me. But now I know. Love without boundaries isn't love. It's erosion. I pause, take a sip of cold coffee. The air is still, like the letter is breathing with me. There were good days, and I'm not pretending there weren't. But those moments were always rented, and the bill always came later. You'd say, I'm proud of you, and then ask for a favor I couldn't afford. You'd hug me in public and cut me down in the car ride home. You loved me, but in a way that cost me more than I ever realized. I scroll back up. Still no greeting beyond, hi, Mom. It feels right. Distant, but open. This isn't a plea. This isn't revenge. This isn't me asking for anything. It's just me saying I survived. Without you, without the noise, without the weight. And I've started to build things now that don't collapse under the weight of your approval. I bought a bookshelf. It's crooked, but I built it with my own hands. Every book on it is one I chose. No more hand-me-downs. No more guilt paperbacks about struggle and duty and sons who return home. You can keep your narrative. I'm writing my own now. If you're still in therapy, I hope you stay. Not for me, for yourself. I hope you learn that control isn't love, that silence isn't abuse. That children aren't extensions, they're people. I sit back, let the document breathe. Then I add one last line. I'm not coming back, but I'm not angry anymore. I don't send it. I print it, fold it, slip it into a notebook, the same one where I used to write down the things I'd never say aloud. And I leave it there, not to be read, to be released. Closure doesn't always come with a conversation. Sometimes it's a letter you don't send, a voicemail you delete. A door you don't reopen even when someone's standing on the other side with tears in their eyes. It's late evening now. I turn on the porch light. Not for her, for me, because I like the way it makes my space glow, because I choose softness without debt. I sit on my couch, the one I bought with money she never touched, the one that holds only the shape of me. And for the first time in my life, I don't flinch when the phone rings, because I know who I am now, and no one can unmake that, not even her. That's all for this story. I'll be back with another one. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel. It motivates me to create more content like this.